Hi, I'm Maggie Maslowski, and I read the Edutopia article by Vicki Davis entitled Five Fantastic Fast Formative Assessment Tools. She discusses how formative assessment makes better teachers, and using those assessments improves not only our teaching but also their learning. So formative assessment, we all know we do, or we should do often, so that we gauge where kids are, how many of them get it, how many of them don't, what they do and what they don't understand, and what we have to reteach before we get to the summative assessment where we give a final test and they're able to know if they passed or failed that lesson, and we're able to know that. But how do you know if the students are ready for that test? And are your teacher instincts accurate? She mentioned the story that happened, or a personal story, I should say, that happened to her, where she was teaching binary numbers, and she usually takes it 5 days for her to teach that lesson. So she was teaching, and after just a few minutes, within the first day of the lesson, a couple kids raised their hands like, okay, we got this. This is easy. Can we move on? And so she asked the other students, and she's like, all right, how many of you think you're ready to move on or start this practice? And everybody raised their hand or nodded their head. So she's like, okay, let's move on. And then she got the test scores back, and they were for it. Only 2 of the people, the ones who said they already got it, were the only ones who passed. So she realized her teacher instincts and her students may not always be so honest or so accurate or on the spot, whether it's embarrassment or not wanting to continue with that part because they don't want to feel like they're the only ones that don't get it. So she decided to teach for a few more minutes. Then she gave a formative assessment. She was able to gauge a few more students got it, so then she continued with the ones that didn't get it for a few more minutes, and so on and so forth. And even though she ended up doing way more formative assessments that she expected to do in this lesson, her 5-day unit turned into a 3-day because more students ended up passing the final summative test because she broke it up into teaching the things the students didn't get. She didn't have to waste her time reteaching the stuff that they already learned. So that's kind of a way for her to collect data and prevent those incorrect instincts. So good teachers in every subject will adjust their teaching based upon what students know at each point, and good formative assessment removes the embarrassment of public hand raising and gives students and teachers the feedback that impacts how they're teaching at that moment. So instant feedback, we can do it now. So here's what she talks about when it comes to those 5 apps or 5 programs or tools. So Socrative is the first one. I've used it multiple times. There's different types of ways you can use it. It is free, it's online-based, web-based, but it's also app. So you can use Android or iPhone on it. It's free, super quick, super fast. And you have different types, whether it's surveys, tickets out the door, few responses, multiple choice, true and false. Lots of variety. You can give them immediate feedback. You can punch in as you set up the quizzes what are the different responses and why you would have gotten that one correct or why that one was incorrect. So you can do that. You can do space races or regular quiz formats. It saves all of your data. So this is what the website would look like if you log into it and see your teacher version with all the different options that you have. And then that's a different look for the screen depending on what you press or what you type in. When students are taking a quiz or a survey, you look at your screen and you can see their progress on the left-hand side, so you can see how far along they are. Obviously, this person is 100% completed or done. The red implies that they are incorrect answers. So obviously, number 1, only 1 person got it wrong, so that was an easy question. Well, number 3, a lot more students got it wrong. So you know right away you might have to go to those students quicker and reteach or have them relearn that activity. The left-hand side looks like the screen. You have your own room number. That was the same teacher number that you have, so I usually post them in my classroom. The right-hand side is the Excel spreadsheet, so you're able to see all the answers, and depending on how well you know Excel, you can sort all them by numbers because you had them fill it in with their last name. What is the second tool she talks about? And it basically is a game-based kind of thing, but it's also testing. While Socrative is more like individual and they're usually quiet when I give that test, Kahoot is more interactive and more loud and more cooperative and collaborative. So you see the teacher screen is up here where you see the picture or the question. You can have both, picture and a question, and then you see the 4 choices. While the student devices only will show the colors of the choices. So they literally have to look at the front screen. They can't just focus on their own. So that kind of has an interaction. And you're able to kind of practice it beforehand, because the practice one before you launch it, you can look at the teacher screen and the student screen at the same time, and you can kind of see how the quiz will go. They do get the choice of putting in their name, and it does say nickname, so you might want to have specific rules on how you want them done so that you don't have names of people you don't know. And the number always changes with the different quizzes, so the kids are pretty easy. Kahoot.it is what it is. It's a website, not an app. After each question, you're able to see who got it correct, who got it incorrect. I'm sorry, how many got it correct, how many got it incorrect. You'll be able to see the Excel spreadsheet later. But I right away go through and see, okay, one of you got it correct, so good. These of you that thought it was this, here's why it's not that one. Here's these of you thought it was blue, but it's not that one because. So when you do that immediate feedback right away with them as a class, it's like reteaching with this review. The action is the third thing she talked about, and I have never used it before, so I'm going to let the video speak for itself. So as you can see, it's obviously a pretty good form for you guys to do that. So I'm definitely going to try it. The next thing that she talks about is back channel chat tools, which one of them is Today's Meet. And Today's Meet is something that I've known we've used as a district, so I'm pretty sure everybody has heard of it, maybe has even used it. You can set up a name for it, how long it's open for, so it's maybe a good idea to tell your kids, okay, it's only open for a week. This is our topic. Make sure you put in your real name so you get credit. Make sure you put in the answer to this or that question, or share this or this information so that you get credit for it, or have that discussion back and forth, and maybe even require them to respond to more than one person or something like that. I know Pivot wasn't mentioned in her article, but it's a format that I use a lot, and you're able to put information up there in boxes, or you can do it as a Twitter kind of format, or kind of like Today's Meet is, but you can also put in videos as well as images. So it might be a better way. No one can touch their boxes. So like my box I made, no one else can edit it. These two students did their box, no one else can edit it but me. So it kind of prevents that deletion or pranks that people may play on each other. The fifth one she talks about is if you don't have BYOD, as in you don't have bring your own device. Plickers is a way for you to assess kids, like they would hold up their own individual card and they're all different. The letter on the top that they would put would be their answer. And the teacher is the only one that has to have a device, because you would scan the students as they hold up their card so that you'd be able to see who gets what. So the green is correct, the red is incorrect, and then some people obviously grayed out, didn't register, didn't answer, or hold up their cards. But it kind of prevents from people seeing, oh, everybody put what everybody else put, because every card is unique, so you don't know who's shape looks like an A, B, C, or D. GradeCam is kind of like taking a Scantron and taking a picture of it, but they have their own specific GradeCam printouts, and then you would have to use their coded ones you printed out, and it automatically uploads as an Excel, and you can be able to see the different scores and be able to gauge where your students are. Quick Key is very similar. It's also apps, so you'd have to scan it. They have their own specific easy quiz creation kind of thing, and then you get the management tool. And ZipGrade is very similar as well. As you can see, they have to look at the 4 different circles have to align for it to be able to scan, and then you get that check. But it's pretty much a Scantron, so if you still want those, good. We don't have that issue because we don't have BYOD. We have, every kid has their own devices, so that might not be effective for you. Can you teach without formative assessment? Test scores should never be a surprise. You don't need to be a mind reader. You just need a formative assessment toolbox, and you need to use it every day. Teachers need choice, students need choice, so lessons require differentiation. Now it's time to practice and learn. So hopefully any of those 5, and actually a few more that were in there mentioned, would be helpful to you, because practice makes progress, not perfect. So nothing's perfect, but at least it'll progress and you'll get better, and the students will enjoy and be engaged and motivated to actually learn the stuff, because the formative assessments are easy, quick, and maybe even fun. Thank you.